all of my beautiful dolly friends. I'm Dr. Doll. Welcome to another video. My hair is wet. I've already taken a shower. I know I always look homeless in my videos. It's part of the deal. You know? You can always expect for my channel to include dolls and me looking like a hobo. So that's the content that you come for, right? So this morning I tried to film a tutorial on how to do an eye swap on an Argene doll. And I used a new mold, a newer mold, the Hope mold. And to my surprise, it was exactly the same as an American Girl doll. Now, why was that surprising? Well, the attempts that I had made before to eye swap an Argene doll was on the older mold. This one. I don't know the name of it, but anyone who's anyone will know what I'm talking about. This mold. These eyes are different. So the eyes that I took out of the Argene doll earlier this morning are the same size as American Girl doll eyes. They are this size. The eyes that I take out of this doll will look a little different. They have more of a tube that goes back. Their eye sockets are deeper. And I really wanted to show you how to do an eye swap on this particular eye socket because doing it on the newer mold was so easy. So I decided I was gonna do two separate tutorials. There's that one, which is basically the same as an AG doll. I just wouldn't recommend reheating the head. And then we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna show you how to do it on an older mold because I feel like this one's more common. You find these in thrift stores, you find them in garage sales. A lot of people who do customs are gonna be working on this mold, so that's the one that I wanna talk about. So we're gonna start it off the same way, and then it's gonna be a little bit different towards the end. All right, so it's basically the same as we did before. It's a smaller neck hole, which sounds kind of weird, but I'm gonna pour the hot water into the head just like you would on an AG doll, and then you let it marinate. I used 1.5 cups, which is what I use for an AG doll, and I microwave the water for 3 minutes, and that seems to be, now each microwave is set to a different power. That's just what works for my microwave. You want it to get it to where it starts bubbling and boiling a little bit. So we're gonna let that marinate for a couple of minutes. So I'm using these acrylic eyes by Dallas Doll Co. I took them out of another custom that wasn't selling. Her eyelids I had already painted, so they're not brand new, but they're still good, they're still usable. And they're this really pretty like ocean blue color. So that's what I'm gonna attempt to put into her eye sockets. Just wanna make sure that they're opening and closing properly. And let's see if she's ready. Feels pretty soft. I'm gonna give it just another minute though. Okay, I think she should be done now. I'm gonna go ahead and pour the water out. Now remember that the hot water is coming through the holes in the rooted hair, so just be extra careful as you're doing this. It's slightly more dangerous than an AG doll. Now poking these out can be a little bit tricky since they're longer, but if you get the plastic soft enough, you can, okay, so I'll show you that in a minute. Do you see how it like inverted? Push that back, and they're just a little bit more stubborn because of the way they're built. Inverted again. Push it back. So these weren't really built, these dolls weren't built with the intention of swapping the eyes. So now if you put these straight in, they're going to push back to the back, and there's going to be this weird dark like gap between the eye and her face, and it's going to look sunken in and creepy. So you want to put a little bit of filler in there. Now I don't have an exact amount. I just sort of eyeball it. Get it? Eyeball it. That's a knee slapper. Okay, so I think for me it's literally just a pinch. And then you want to get them in before she gets too cold. And I use polyfill because it's mildew and mold resistant and it's readily available, but there are other fillers you can use. That's just what works for me. And then you can just rotate the eyes like normal. And voila! You have successfully done an eye swap on an older Our Generation doll. So, and now they're not working correctly. That's because they're older eyes, but this is just for demonstration purposes. Aren't they pretty though? Really pretty. So, just to recap, try not to heat the water more than once. Try not to heat the plastic more than once is what I meant, because you do risk melting the face. This is the same mold that I melted the face when I tried to heat it several times in a row. So just be aware the plastic cannot take being reheated multiple times in a row. It's a little bit cheaper than AG. So keep that in mind. Keep in mind that water will leak through the holes in the top. So maybe wear gloves. I don't because I'm lazy and I'm used to getting burned, I guess. And then keep in mind that the acrylic eyes that you buy are not going to be large enough. They're not going to fit correctly, so you're going to need some kind of filler. I'll show you now. It's a little bit misshapen because of the heat of the water, but take a look at this wonky eye. It has like an extra little leg to it. They're very strange. And so when they're fit together, again, this one's all crushed and misshapen, but do you see they're tubular instead of, let me show you so this is an AG shaped eye, and this is the one that I took from the old Argen. So the eye socket is a different shape. So you need to use a little bit of filler, otherwise the smaller eye is going to sink back and it's going to look weird. Now the newer molds seem to be the same shape as the AG dolls. So this is just for the older face molds. They have that tubular eye socket. And you saw that when I popped the eye out, it inverted. That's happened to me every time. You just shove it back in. So, but that's how you do it. It is possible. This is the second time I've successfully done it on this particular mold. So it can be done. It is not impossible. And I wanted to do that earlier when I filmed the other video, but I didn't realize that the new molds were going to be made differently. I'm glad that they are, because honestly, it's nice that it is possible to do an eye swap, by using the filler, but it's nice that you don't have to on the newer molds. I've honestly really been surprised and impressed with Batat and their newer dolls. I have noticed a significant improvement with the quality. A lot of I think I was a little bit harsh with Argen in my review, just because a lot of our generation dolls that I handle and work with are the older molds from the early 2000s. Those are the ones that I primarily work with because they're beat up. I'm Dr. Doll. I work on beat up dolls. But now that I've handled quite a lot of the newer dolls, the ones that have just been launched, they're really, really nice. They are really nice dolls. And honestly, side-by-side comparison of them and a brand new American Girl doll, there's not a lot of difference. Don't come for me. Don't come for me, people. But really, there's not a lot of difference. Now, they still have that annoying V thing with the legs. They haven't quite figured that out. They can stand on their own. But other than that, they're good dolls. They really are. Especially for the price point. You get a lot for your money. So if you... I think that, I've reviewed quite a lot of 18-inch dolls out there. And from what I've seen so far, I haven't covered all of them, but from what I've seen so far, they are probably the best alternative to an American Girl doll. If you cannot afford an American Girl doll, go to Target, buy yourself an Our Generation doll, because from what I've seen of the newer dolls, I'm impressed. So, good job, Batat. And hopefully this tutorial was helpful. Now that I've covered both the newer molds and the older molds in the eye swapping, if you have any questions, please leave me a comment down below. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing. I'm always uploading. I always look crazy, but I'm always uploading. And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.